Hey guys, it's TRIZE here, back with Automation, the car company Tycoon game, and what you're seeing right now is one of my latest builds called the Xenos XS550. This mid-performing supercar has simple yet modest styling. It's also the company's first ever car produced that was intended to compete against the Lexus LFA, McLaren MP412C, and Ferrari 458. While experimenting with this car, engineers at Xenos thought what would happen if this mid-engine car is front-wheel drive. That's what we're gonna find out soon. Anyways, I'll explain the details of this car throughout this portion of the video. It has a lap time of 1 minute 15 seconds 99 milliseconds at the quote-unquote Top Gear test track and 2 minutes 5 seconds 90 milliseconds at the automation track. It has a top speed of 231 miles per hour and a 0 to 60 in 3.3 seconds flat. This vehicle is powered by a 5-liter V10 engine that produces 550 horsepower and 411.2 pounds-feet of torque. It has a fuel efficiency rating of 30.2 miles per gallon and weighs 3,333.3 pounds, which equals to 1,512 kilograms. And now, let's go over the specs of this vehicle. In terms of how I made the Xenos XS550, the panel material will be made out of partial carbon fiber with a semi-space frame chassis made out of aluminum. With a mid-transverse engine placement, and the front suspension uses a double wishbone, and the rear suspension uses a push-rod suspension. For the engine, it's a V90 V10 engine made out of magnesium with the bore and stroke each set kept it as is to 86 millimeters to get the engine size to 4,994 cubic centimeters or about 5 liters, with a dual overhead cam 4 valve made out of aluminum silicone. For the balance shaft, this engine requires a balance shaft to be built in to reduce the crankshaft from exploding, and for the rest of the engine, such as the crankshaft, made out of billet steel with the con rod set to a lightweight forged and the pistons are set to a regular forged. For the compression, it is set to a fairly high 12.2 to 1 ratio with the cam profile set to a 68, and the springs and lifters raised up just a bit to a 60, and of course, VVT at all cams. For the fuel system, we're using a multi-point electronic fuel injector with a throttle per cylinder configuration with a performance high intake running on super fuel, with the fuel mixture set to a 14.1, the ignition timing set to a 76, and the RPM limit is set to an 8,200 RPM. And lastly, for the exhaust and everything, so the headers, we're using some long tubular headers with a dual exhaust with the exhaust diameter set to a 69.8 millimeters, which equals to 2.75 inches. And we're rolling with a high flow 3-way catalytic converter and 2 straight-through mufflers for the first and second ones. And real briefly, let's get a hear of what this engine sounds like right now. While it doesn't sound like a Formula 1 V10, I think this is pretty much good enough. So for the rest of the vehicles, such as the drive type, so our only option, we're using a rear-wheel drive configuration with a dual clutch 6-speed with the top speed set to 240.1 miles per hour. Even though the top speed right here shows 230.9 miles an hour, this is due to the front lip and the side skirts built into this vehicle, including the rear wing right up in here to, well, improve downforce of this vehicle. And second of all, since this says rear-wheel drive, well, this is for automation only. In BeamNG, it's a whole different story because, well, you can obviously see with the title of this video. For the tires, we're using some Radial Sports compound tires with the front tire width set to 255 millimeters and the rear is set to 295 millimeters, running on some 20-inch alloy rims. For the brakes, we're using some vented disc brakes front and back, so the front is a 4-piston with its size set to 370 millimeters, and the rear is a 2-piston with its size set to 350 millimeters. Aerodynamics are the good stuff, so full optimize, bit of brake airflow, and +1 on the quality. So for the interior of this vehicle, well, unfortunately, I do not have an interior set with this vehicle, but pretending we do got one, we got ourselves a 2-seater with a luxury interior and a luxury sat-nav system. Going on to the driver aids and safety and everything, so we got ourselves electric variable power steering with electronic stability control and launch control and 2010's advanced safety standards. Finally, for the suspension. Pretty unique, but not like super duper unique, so progressive springs with adaptive dampers and semi-active sway bars running on a sport preset. Despite having a small handful of problems on here, such as a tendency to oversteer, jabber speed 2R, rear tire profile issues, tires being wide, brake fade, and clearance issues with the engine, let's jump into BeamNG.drive to see how a front-wheel drive mid-engine car performs. So here we are at the map of West Coast USA, taking a very brief look at this vehicle here. So for the general style of the vehicle with the back end, well, pretty simple. You got some duckbill type of brake lights up in here with the brakes with the reverse light being swallowed up in here. And the turn signals, well, they seem pretty safe because they're on the edge right here, including elsewhere about the vehicle. Even though in terms of like styling supercars, trying to get a design going and everything, it seems like this is like my weakest point up in here. Like, I'm okay at building like other cars, but supercars, it seems like too much for me. Like, where you're looking for the front, almost make it look like a Grand Theft Auto 5 type of car, the front end up in here. Okay styling, not the world's best, and also, we got the frickin' fuel can mocking Dodge Charger, or Dodge Challenger up in here, with a fuel door where it says fuel, we got it right here. Suck it, Dodge. And as I bring back the UI right now, so what we got here in the bottom left is the powertrain map up in here. So what I got here is the main engine, which is this boy right up in here. So this is the main engine right here, followed by the gearbox, and then the front drive shaft located under the vehicle, right? Oh no, the drive shaft is pretty much where the gearbox is at, and this is supposed to be the drive shaft connecting to the front wheels. So that's your drive shaft, and the front differential is pretty much what connects the front wheels to make it front wheel drive, powered by the front right wheel and the front left wheel. So if I hit the gas right now, the front tires do spin and not the back tires because I changed it up from a rear-wheel drive to a front-wheel drive. What will happen if a mid-engine car is front-wheel drive? So we'll test it out here in just a second. So for these tests here, our base performance test, we'll start off with the 0 to 62 acceleration test, followed by a 62 to 0 brake test, and lastly, a top speed run, which this type of vehicle having a V10 engine, there's a chance that we could make it, but I'm kind of concerned about it. I'm not so sure. So right now, start with the 0 to 62 acceleration test. Now, accelerate. And here we go, the first gear to second gear, and way worse of an acceleration, 0 to 62 in 6.82 seconds, or 325.33 feet. So about twice as much worse compared to what we got in automation, what we just got in BeamNG.drive. So brake test, showing 62, brake. Nice. 62 to 0 in 2.28 seconds of 94.63 feet. That seems pretty good. We're not in triple digits. We're in the high double digits, around the 90 feet percentile. Time-wise, pretty great too. So for a top speed run, I just shut off the electronic stability control and traction control. What would have been like if we would accelerate as so? So accelerate. Oh boy, severe front wheel spin for a mid-engine performing car. 0 to 62 in 7.76 seconds, 364.69 feet. That's a nice number, folks. And still wheel spin in, what gear is this? So that was 4th gear. So we had wheel spin in gears 1 through 4 with a front wheel drive car. That is pretty bad. And we're kind of getting wheel spin in 5th gear. Airspeed 170. Now we're dropping significantly. Oh boy. So top speed run. We don't have much room. Severe understeer. Severe understeer. Oh my god. Let's just right up the wall and just call it a night. We're not going to really go fast with this corner up ahead, so whatever. So top speed run, unfortunately fail. All of a sudden I'm going again, so let's just park the car into some daylight up in here. So let's just find some daylight. Alright, so we got the car as so we got the front tire still doing its job because we're in 1st gear. Not anymore because it went to arcade mode. So with the damage of the vehicle, pretty held up kind of well for a carbon fiber-ish vehicle. 140 mile an hour, severe side scrape, side swipe, whatever you call it. Held pretty well, and ripped the rear spoiler. That sucks. So for the next part of the video, we're going to be doing a time trial run, but unfortunately, the map we're going to doesn't have a time trial mode set up, so let's go to free roam and go to Brands Hatch right now. So here we are at Brands Hatch. So with the first part of the time trial, we're going to be doing the short course section, and then the second part will be the long course section. So let's start things off with the short course version. We're going to be doing 1 lap each for each part of time trial. So start things off with the first time trial in 3, 2, 1, go. Accelerate we go, and what the hell happened here? So first corner. God damn, this thing is like jerky, the steering. It goes from like jerky to just complete understeer. Brakes pretty well, but ECS... Look at ECS, it's ruining my life trying to not accelerate or something. Let me go to sport mode. How would that work out? Damn, severe understeer. And still, ECS is trying to stop the vehicle and will spin. Kids, don't do front-wheel drive in a mid-engine vehicle, so... Major understeer. How about this here bend? Still that major understeer at 50 miles an hour. That is purely unacceptable. And you know what? Since it's a short course, let's just do 2 laps. So let's just wing it right here. What will be the first lap? Will it count or no? Let's see. Will it count? 1 minute 4 seconds, 969 milliseconds. So yeah, it did count despite looking quite awkward up in here. God dang. If this keeps ruining my life, I might as well turn off ECS traction control. How about a hard brake? No fading, but damn, understeering is really, like I'm saying 100 times, it's a pain in the literal ass. And coming into the very final stretch, we'll probably get a worse lap time of a 1 minute, no, 1 minute 1 seconds, 563 milliseconds. Not too bad, of a total time of 2 minutes 6 seconds, 532 milliseconds. That seems okay. If the car would have been rear drive as is, I'm taking the time, like 58 seconds maybe, 59, something like that. Now let's line myself back up, so line myself here, and no. Alright, so I'm right in the middle, so do the long portion of the time trial. So with the long portion, it's going to be 1 lap from a dead stop that we're in right now. And let me turn off traction control and everything to make this easier upon myself. So get ready to start off the second portion of the time trial in 3, 2, 1, go. What in the stall was that? I tried to do a launch and pretty much just like stalled on me. Alright, corner. ECS isn't saving my life. Dude, we pretty much just spin the wheels throughout the entire portion of that straightaway. That is just ridiculous. Alright, here we go to this here corner. So stay left. Please stay left. Please stay left. What we did. Sheesh, that is horrible. And we're at gear 4, I believe, and you can hear we got some severe wheel spin. How about this corner? This is kind of scary. Braking. Off the brakes. And once you accelerate, then you get that severe understeer. We'll end up... Oh, I got a bad apex. Into the gravel? Nope. Barely missed the gravel. I'm about to say, in automation with the graph on here that shows like the understeering and oversteering. Breaking news, we're gonna crash. Nope, but on gravel, we're pretty much having like a freaking Formula 1 car or something. And I'm distracted. Get distracted. Back in the gravel. So I'm about to say, we got all that grip like we're in freaking Formula 1 once we get into gravel to the point where understeering is basically just invalid. And here we go, hitting the brakes. Cut down. Well, had the anatomy, but I'm about to say, in automation, there was a graph that shows the understeer and the oversteer graph, and it was showing oversteer for this vehicle. And we get a time of 2 minutes 7 seconds, 437 milliseconds. Let's stop the timer and crash this out dead ahead. So despite all this wheel spin, all that good stuff, camera as is. Weird camera angle, but okay. Alright, flip this upright. And boom, there goes the vehicle. So for the aftermath of destruction's vehicle, let's put this out a little more. So we got a tire bouncing the car upward. Like it's a jack stand or something. Are you kidding me, man? Is that the... Oh, no, it's the front left. So the front left tire wedged in right here. And again, ripped the rear spoiler and the front end. You may not survive this front end collision whatsoever at like 90 miles an hour. Probably wind up in the hospital or something. So now, final part of the video, let's go on over to the leap of death to really scrap this horrendous type of experiment down the drain. So leap of death, jump in right now. So here we are at leap of death. Let's accelerate with some extreme electronic stability control as we barely accelerate. Good. How about here? 62 miles an hour, but it didn't even show it on the graph up here. So about 62 miles an hour upon launch, and we're facing butt first. What if I brake? Can I faceplant? No, we're gonna pretty much smash his as is and slow it down. So we're gonna go ass first with this here vehicle. So camera seems pretty decent. Go to 60 times. Go. Dude, that thing just squashed up like a frickin' accordion or something, bruh. So, full time. Engine still runs despite a hard rear end collision. Let's slow it down to a 4 times. Hide UI again, camera as is. Still in its shape. And it's gonna be a 2 bounce or a 3 bounce till we go splash, so it's a 2 bounce. So let's save the engine and splash. Hard splash. Main engine broken once we hit the bottom of the C4. So let's bring it to some flat land up in here despite that hard-ass collision. So go here, F7. Where are we at right now with the damage of the vehicle? So the damage. It's pretty much the point where the engine is Is it still in like... I can barely see it up in here. Is it like flattened up in here? Did it change shape? Or no, maybe the camera's like jittery. But there's some bayness with the headers cover, but it's still in one piece. So damage of the vehicle, we pretty much make this a micro K car, a micro city car, to the point where it's just not a supercar anymore. And the headlights, they still work. That's good. Alright, to wrap things up here, so what I'm going to do is try to drive myself straight as fast as I can without flipping over, doing anything weird. And once I get to a high speed, I'm going to freeze physics and then bring the car to like one of the peaks here of the mountain face here. So I'm going to like F7 my way up in here and see if I can land myself back down to this crater. So let's begin to accelerate to see how fast we're going to go with this vehicle. So accelerating. There's going to be a little jump here. ECS still ruining my life, so keep accelerating. Keep accelerating, and still keep accelerating until we get to the point right here, 71 miles an hour. Let's F7 to this point right here, and see what will happen here. Alright, 71 miles an hour, got the car up here, so go, 71. And we're falling as so. If for this part, we're gonna reach engine start avoid, are you kidding me? So for this part, everything as is. Almost like freaking pinched the hell out of that car, so... Manager broken up in here. So, flattened the car pretty good. I thought we were going to go like into a big pinch or something for the first hit. So everything as is, just no slowdowns, no high in the UI, no camera angles, just all this right here. Boom, there goes the hit. And also about the engine, tire deflated. The engine is doing some weird ninjutsu stuff up in here. And are we going to make it? We got the crevice. Nope, we're gonna get stuck at the crevice as this engine will do some weird ninjutsus and everything, trying to slow this car down, change its course, and to the point that we're gonna get stuck right up here. Damn, it was doing pretty good until the engine pretty much just sabotaged me. It's like always this point, I get to the pinch. So let's just grab a node, 100% strength, and not good enough. Let's restart ourselves, 100% strength, go. Here we go, 100% strength as so. We made it to the crater as so by cheating. And I can look at the car. It's a piece of paper. We're still going. Engine's still doing some ninjutsu stuff up in here. Some karate, kickboxing, taekwondo, whatever type of martial arts that you could think of. And the engine is still starting to boil. I mean, it's dead. I mean, you can see it's dead. It's like 1,000,000% dead. It's just like not attached to the car anymore. And we got a tire. Oh, Mr. Tire. It's a flat tire with a destroyed rim. And it's coming to a rest. And it's just gonna... go backwards, whatever. So, the vehicle. If we flip it upright as so, we got the car completely mangled up like a piece of paper. You know what? Let's get the tire here. Get the tire. Mr. Tire. Come here. And then just... missed. I was gonna salt the car to tire, but whatever. So, the car is a complete mess. It's a piece of paper. It's a rainbow-looking curve up in here. And Mr. Tire, come back. Alright, I'm done with the tire. So that'll do it with automation and BeamNG.drive with the Xenos XS550. Well, the engineers at Xenos should have kept it as is, just a rear-wheel drive supercar that's decent in performance, a V10 engine, and okay styling. But they pretty much had to make things worse by making it front-wheel drive, so they want to become, like, different in the automotive world. So they did in fact becoming different by making it front-wheel drive and pretty much made this a lot worse than it was. And for those who are interested in this type of content, please be sure to like and subscribe so you won't miss out on any videos like this in the future. And also, check out my social media down in the description below. So this is TRIZE Rising Up, and signing out.